In nearly every survey I've ever conducted at an organization, the majority of employees feel like they want to do more to support DEI initiatives, but are really not sure how. At the same time, many report feeling a little less than enthusiastic at the idea of doing more workshops and trainings on the topic, which a lot of people see as not that effective and kind of frustrating. Yet trainings from unconscious bias workshops to inclusive hiring practices continue to be a really big staple of many companies and organizations' DEI programs. So one question I get a lot from leaders is, we're investing a lot in DEI workshops and training, but is it actually doing anything? The answer, unsurprisingly, is it depends. The research tells us that they can have really positive and lasting impacts when done the right way. But otherwise, they can be pretty ineffective and in some cases actually serve to reinforce issues of discrimination and bias and stereotyping and an overall lack of interest in the topic. Here's what you need to know to leverage the good bits of DEI trainings and minimize the not so good. First, 3 things that we know don't work. One-off trainings. When we do 1 or 2 trainings a year, when a workshop is provided in complete isolation and we don't really ever talk about it again or do any follow-ups, that doesn't work. One study that looked at the impact of unconscious bias trainings found that the impact of a one-off workshop on the topic only lasts about 8 weeks. While you may experience a lot of learning and aha moments in a workshop, if it's not joined with any sort of follow-up or reinforcement of new actions, those learnings tend to sort of disappear. Second, when workshops or trainings focus on awareness but not so much on action, when they're not equipping you with strategies and actual tools that you can use immediately day to day to change the way we work. Many trainings focus on driving awareness of discrimination and stereotypes and things like bias, which is important. But if not matched with teaching and training on what to actually do, whether it's changing your hiring practices or learning how to lead a diverse team, we're not going to change any behaviors. We end up spending too much time talking about the why of DEI and not enough about the what and how to do it. Third, and related to the first 2 pitfalls of some DEI trainings, is that there is no follow-up. Training is conducted, the facilitator walks away, and there's not really any plan or accountability for actually applying what we learned. We know from countless research in psychology and management science that changing behaviors requires consistent practice. So if there's no plan to implement what we learn and change what we do day to day, it's really no surprise we don't see that much impact from some trainings. So what does work when it comes to DEI trainings? First, when they're continual and ongoing. Having 1 or 2 workshops a year isn't really going to cut it. If you're an organization that is interested in having DEI learnings and trainings, how can you implement regular programming so that the topic and the conversation is present month to month or week to week? This keeps content and learnings fresh and really shows your commitment to driving change around equity and inclusion within your organization and industry. Second, accountability and follow-ups. When you conduct a training or invite someone to conduct a training, what specific concrete steps are you and your people committing to follow to implement those learnings? If you have a workshop about how to run an inclusive meeting, what concrete things are you and your team going to commit to doing after that workshop to continue the impact? Third, make sure that training and workshops are not the only thing you're doing when it comes to DEI. They need to be part of a wider menu of initiatives and programs that you're driving to advance equity and inclusion at work. Those could be anything from evaluating your parental leave policies to ensuring there are sponsorship opportunities for all of your employees of color. So overall, equity and inclusion are continual learning processes. Even those of us who have been working in this field for decades spend a lot of time learning and training on the topics. Learning, teaching, training should all be a really important part of our DEI work. But we do need to make sure that we do it thoughtfully and meaningfully. So explore the resources and guides that I've included here for some more ideas about how you can pursue really effective DEI trainings and workshops. I also spend a lot of time supporting organizations in their educational and training programs around DEI and leadership, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.